One, two, three, four. All right, 7 pieces.
Yes, I did notice that my microphone is muted because you mentioned it. Thank you. Whoops. Would never happen. And we have to decide between door number 1 and 6. Yes. Because last time we used door number 2. And both doors lead to apparently 2 endings. So 1 or 6.
Just double checking, but
Yes, just like you.
I will skip this because we
need to
heard
make
this
the whole- Hurry it
before.
up, Mr. I.
Yeah, quiet. All right, let's open. The first one said ace request.
Yes, I do.
No. Next is Clover 1.
There.
No.
But
Just give it. It's not like
I am not.
barely.
So.
Maybe. Nobody wants.
Oh!
Oh,
Let go.
Junpei.
Right. June wants.
Yes.
So this was everyone's vote. Ace and Clover. 7 and Load. Santa and... Then the door I should... Okay, the last... I want to go through...
Okay. Any other choices? So we have a vote for door 1. Bitsun, Coffee, anyone else want to cast a vote? Currently we have 1 on door 1. It's the choice we should leave till last. Very nice. I will find you. I will find you. I know where your country resides, very nice. I will find you and I will hug you. I will hug you and I will not let go. Why can't we go to door number 2? Because I cannot show you on the flow map, but door number 2 leads to only 1 ending, which we did. So very nice. Could you make a final decision if you want to make door 1 or 6? That was to be expected until the next sentence comes in that will not say that they want door 6. Do we need to make a decision time? Door 69. That happens only at night. Well, I guess we have a cast for 1, we have a cast for 6. What do you want? Heads or tails coffee? You know, chat, you can influence this this inner result by spamming heads or tails. Except it doesn't help at all. Okay, so tails is 1 and head is 6. Tails. And it is tails, which is 1. Game crash is my choice. I'm sorry, I cannot serve you that. So it's gonna be door number 1.
My choice is door 1.
So as you can see, we chose last time door 2 and it leads to 1 ending. Door 1 is a good choice. Out of 5 stars on Yelp. Or is door 1 is going to lead us probably here. Sorry. Santa was unconvinced.
Hey, wait a minute there. You cheating?
Cheating?
I'm asking if you changed your number after you heard what doors we wanted.
How could I do that? I wrote it down on the paper earlier.
Let me see that.
Sure, here.
Jumpy shrugged and handed it to him. Santa examined it furiously. Furiously. The others peered at it as well. As they did, Jumpy quickly slipped the piece of paper he'd been hiding into his pocket. Although he'd never know it now, Santa had been justified in his suspicions. Jumpy had switched papers.
I had 3 pieces of paper ready.
For doors 1, 2, and 6. What if the good ending is at door 6? I don't know.
And I put the one with door 6 on it into the pot.
He put a small mark on it so that he would know which one was his.
I just needed to make sure I drew last. After I saw everyone else's result, I just chose whatever door I wanted. If the number I'd already put in matched, then I didn't have to switch the paper out. Well, what does it say?
He fought the urge to smirk.
You got lucky.
Santa snorted and tossed the paper aside, frustrated.
Very well. We've decided who will go through door 1. It will be Clover, Junpei, and myself. Our only problem is the 2 remaining teams.
June and I want door 6.
Lotus and I want door 2.
That's not good. We can't open either of those doors with only 2 people. Aw. Fine. 7, we'll go through door 6.
Sure thing. I didn't really want to go through door 2 anyway. Besides, if we've got a younger girl with us, it'll lower the average age. Right, June?
What does that have to do with anything? Which door leads to the alcoholic ending? Probably door 777.
Well, I
June was at a loss for words. Lotus was not.
Pig. You just wait and see.
That's random. Her eyes were the eyes of a woman prepared to kill. A shiver ran down Chumpy's spine. Chumpy.
Calling me old. This is why men are such a pain in the ass. They're about as subtle as a brick.
And they're at it again.
The only true ending. They feel insulted by being called a hag. Yeah, why not? Even after they separated at the staircase, Lotus was still muttering angrily to herself.
I'll see you later, June.
Jumpy.
Circumstances dictated that Jumpy and June would have to part ways again, but this time it didn't sting quite so much.
Don't make that face. It'll be like what Seven said.
We aren't going to be split up permanently till we find door 9. We might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise, we won't be able to open door 9. And that's how the nonary game works.
Seven's word took a weight off of Jumpy's shoulders and felt much better.
It'll be fine. I'll see you soon.
All right. See you later.
Lingering uneasy remained, but they went their separate directions without much trouble. Jumpy, Ace, and Clover headed toward the A deck.
Here's A deck. It was the door on the left, right?
That should be it, yes.
Then here we go.
It opened and they walked through.
It's just as Santa and Lotus said.
At the end of the hallway sat a door with a large red one upon it.
A numbered door.
To the left of it, bolted to the wall, was the red.
There's the red. I'll go first.
Ace went first and waved his wrist over the scanner panel.
Now the two of you, if you would.
Jumpy was next. Finally, listlessly, Clover lifted her arm. She leaned toward the scanner panel. The third asterisk clicked to life, shining brightly. Ace took hold of the lever.
Now.
He took a deep breath and turned to Jumpy and Clover.
Are you ready? Shall I pull it?
No, don't pull the trigger.
Yeah, anytime.
Clover said nothing. She nodded, little more than a lethargic twitch of the head.
Very well then. Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Sorry, I clicked too fast. No, now I have to load the save
And
state
it's open.
again.
Move it!
They stumbled into the room.
Where is it?
Frantically, Jumpy scanned the room. His eyes stopped on the device that would determine whether they lived or died.
There it is! Over there!
Next to the door, they'd come next to the door they would come through was the dead. As one, they ran to it. They put their hands over it as if they were fighting for it. Dude, it took less than 30 seconds.
It stopped.
Yes, it did.
Jumpy could feel his heart pounding against the inside of his ribs. Ace and Clover were breathing hard and fast.
Whew. I don't believe I'll ever get used to that.
I'm not sure it's something I'd want to get used to. We should finish this game before imminent death becomes a normal thing.
I agree.
Now then.
Jumpy looked around again, this time more slowly.
There's another door. Let's try opening it.
He took hold of the knob and easily, gently pulled it open.
So, this is the wheelhouse?
He closed the door again and turned to Ace and Clover. He fixed each in turn with a meaningful stare, then spoke.
Ace, you investigate the wheelhouse next door.
Very well.
Clover, you're in charge of this room. Say something.
Okay, I will.
All right then, let's get started.
Seek a way out. A very simple room, the chart room. Yes, please. Instructions. What shall we do? Intense music. Dun 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 dun. Check the cabinet. So I guess this one. A stack of nautical maps. I think this is a nautical chart. There's a line on it here. I think the line is the route the ship is supposed to take. There are these dots all over the map. Oh, those are probably ports, like for a boat to stop at. Or maybe a ship, because a boat cannot cross an ocean. It looks like the lines connect the dots. There's nothing left in the drawer. Damn, son, that's a lot of emotes there, Asla. Hi there. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. I got up pretty late. Half an hour before I started to stream. Yes, chat. Instructions. What next? Da, 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 da. Check all the cabinets. Yes, I have to go here. The left drawer. Let's have a look. Nothing. The right drawer. Let's have a look. Nothing. A pocket watch. That's a pocket watch. It's like similar to Pokemon, but it's a watch. She sure hasn't been saying much, and she just keeps looking at the floor. She seems kinda sad. What is this? She's talking about Clover. Weird. A voice he hadn't expected startled Jumpy from his examination of the pocket watch.
Oh, pocket watch. Might I take a look at it?
He spun around to find Ace standing in the doorway. Jumpy shrugged and handed him the pocket watch.
Hey, man, what are you doing over in this room?
Oh, I just thought I'd come check up on the two of you. Is there a problem?
Yes, chat. Is there a problem or is there no problem? Tune in next week to find out. Well, time gets wasted. No problem.
Well, not a problem, but... That's a lie. I wanted to get rid of Ace. I sent him to the wheelhouse at the beginning for a reason.
Everyone had their tasks. Ask him for a hamburger. Yes.
I wanted to talk to Clover alone. There's something I want to ask her, and I don't want anyone to overhear us. I'm pretty sure Clover won't talk if there's anyone else around. I'm a little desperate to send him back. Quick, he has to leave.
Ace opened his mouth, then took another look at Jumpy and shut it again. A small smirk appeared on his face.
Oh, I see, of course.
Cheeseburger ending. They all get turned into cheeseburgers. Yum. He looked at Jumpy over, then glanced at Clover.
I apologize for the intrusion. Well, best of luck.
Ace gave Jumpy a knowing pat on the shoulder and left. Jumpy let out a sigh and brushed a few drops of sweat from his forehead. He turned and found himself looking straight into Clover's eyes. She heard what Ace had said. She regarded Jumpy with caution.
What was that about?
She was clearly suspicious, and with good reason.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Jumpy's eyes widened, and he held up his hands in a gesture of innocence.
Oh, no, it's not like that.
What's it like then?
I just wanted to hear the rest of that story. I didn't get a chance to ask you about it until now.
What story?
About the experiment, remember? The one you started to tell me in the operating room? You said something about an experiment that happened here 9 years ago.
Clover bit her lip. She stared down at the floor for several long moments, and when she spoke, it was barely audible.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm just not in the mood, okay? You understand, right? I keep thinking about my brother. I can't stop. I mean, who would do something like that to my brother? I can't forgive them. I'm not gonna let them get away with it. They're gonna pay for it. I promise. So...
Her shoulders were shaking. Drops of blood had sprung up on her lips where she was biting them. She wiped it off and looked up at Jumpy, her eyes fierce and angry.
Junpei, who do you think did it?
Her voice was cold, scarcely above a whisper. Scarcely above a whisper. Jumpy gulped.
Well, if what Seven said was right, then there would have to be at least 2 of them. You need at least 3 people to open the numbered doors, and if you subtract Snake, that means there were at least 2 other people.
You're right. So, what does that mean?
Well, if we just look at the bracelet numbers, we should be able to figure it out. Who could have opened door 3 with Snake? Well, really, who and who, or who and who?
Woohoo! Woohoo! Woohoo!
You mean it could have been 4 people?
Well, technically it's possible.
I don't know. That doesn't seem very likely.
Why?
I'll tell you later. Why don't we just assume it was only 2 other people for now?
Okay, got it. Let's do that then.
Then who do you think it could be?
Jumpy crossed his arms and thought. Snake's bracelet number was 2. Which 2 bracelet numbers added to 2 would give us the digital root of 3? Make your choice out of those 7,000 choices.
Junpei, 2 people. 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 2 people
Math. My worst nightmare. Yes. Make it more easy. There's only one solution. Santa's number 3. What is the number of lotus? Number of Santa and number of snake equals to what digital rule? We are looking for door number 3. Yeah, you have to add Snake's number to it. Snake is 2. Enter on 7. 7. 3. 10 plus 2. 12. 1 plus 2. 3. Yes.
Would it be Santa and 7? The digital root for Snake, Santa, and 7 is 3. Wait, hold on. Are Santa and 7 the killers?
What's wrong?
Clover looked at Jumpy and he looked back at her. There was no point in hiding it.
Well, I thought about it, and
He told her his conclusion.
That's what I thought.
She looked less surprised than he'd expected.
Santa and 7. If it was 2 people, then that's the only combination that works.
hey, wait a minute there. Don't you think it's a little too early to be jumping to conclusions? Well, all I said is that those 2 would have been able to open door 3 with your brother. There might be other possibilities.
Well, what other possibilities?
He didn't have an answer. He was ready to admit defeat when Clover spoke.
Are you saying you think that it was 3 or 4 people? I really don't think that's likely.
Why not?
Can I borrow your pen and paper?
Clover put her hand out expectantly.
Yeah, here.
Jumpy pulled out his pen and pad of paper and handed them to her. She opened the notebook and wrote down several simple addition problems. Eventually, she had 8, which provided a digital root of 3. Yeah, we see it. We don't need...
What's this?
These are the combinations for 3 or 4 people. These 8 combinations are the only possible ones.
Oh, I see.
Junpei,
Yeah?
I can trust you, right?
Of course. Why would you need to ask that?
Really?
Yeah.
So then I should get rid of B, D, G, and H, right?
Of course. Just cross them out. And you should take off yours too. The ones with 4.
So, what does that leave?
A and E.
The most trustworthy man in the world. Of course. So that leaves Ace, Santa, June, Ace, Santa, 7, Lotus.
Wait, it can't be A.
Why?
Because June's in that one. There's no way in hell she'd do something like that.
Are you sure?
I'd bet my life on it.
Okay then. I can cross off A too, right?
Yeah.
Well, what have we got left?
E.
Do you know what this means?
Everyone besides me, you, and June would be working together.
Do you think that's likely? If there were 4 people working together, they wouldn't be very cautious. I don't think they'd try that hard to hide what they were doing if they outnumbered us, right?
Basically every other person.
Well, you do have a point.
And besides, if Ace and 7 are working together, they could have easily gotten rid of me when I went to the shower room with them. But they didn't. They didn't even try anything. If they were killers, why wouldn't they?
Her voice was calm, but Jumpy had only to look at her in the eye to know it was a forced calm. There were tears forming at the corners of her eyes, and she was blinking furiously to keep them back. Perhaps by attempting an objective analysis of who might have killed her brother, she had been able to distance herself from the harsh reality of his death. The more she struggled to act unconcerned, the more Jumpy felt his heart tighten.
Oh, I see. Anyway, I understand now. It seems pretty unlikely that it was as many as 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Then that means there's a good chance it was Santa and Seven.
That's how it looks.
But why would they do it?
There was a moment of silence.
Their motive.
He laid his hand gently on her shoulder. He was close, so close to the answer. When Ace chose the worst possible moment to return, he raised a knowing eyebrow and then spoke.
Have I interrupted something?
What is it?
There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Could you come with me for a moment?
He turned on his heel and walked back toward the wheelhouse.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Jumpy looked over at Clover. He gave her a short nod, hoped that she would be willing to talk to him again later, and followed Ace.
What did you want to talk about?
Ace looked at Jumpy and smiled, perhaps more of a smirk than a smile.
There was something I wanted to check.
Yeah? What's that?
If you'll excuse me.
With no warning, Ace slipped his hand into the pocket of Jumpy's vest.
Hey, what the hell are you doing?
I'm just checking.
No, stop!
He reached for Ace's arm, but it was already too late. In the older man's hand were the pieces of paper Jumpy had balled up and hidden in his pocket.
Just as I thought. What exactly are these pieces of paper hiding in your pocket? You switched them, didn't you, when we voted? Well, I can't say that I care. I managed to get through the numbered door I wanted, despite your mischief.
Then, why did you...
Oh, simple curiosity. I hope you won't think ill of me for it.
He smiled, gave Jumpy a friendly pat on the shoulder, and then turned on his heel and left. It was a small defeat, but it was a defeat. Jumpy had lost the upper hand, and he knew it. He could feel his stomach begin to tense.
Damn.
Bastard. Yes, welcome to exploration mode. Chat, instructions please. Ba-bam, ba-bam. Chatterino! Live! If okay. Coffee? Coffee, Asla, Abitune, anyone? So the whole puzzle thing was just a placeholder. The true challenge was that they could make it out alive without offing each other. Which puzzle? Yeah, which puzzle? Huh? I'm lost. I'm not entirely sure what you're trying to say. Or are you trying to say that the entire thing in the game is useless because it's all about just getting everybody out? This isn't good. So many drawers, but nothing inside of them. A compass. It appears to be broken, however. You see, the glass cover has been smashed to pieces. The escape room thing is totally within their capability. 9 hours is even too much for the time for them. As we saw in one of the ending, it was pretty close to the 9 hours. You also have to consider that they waste a lot of time by searching certain things when they come to like places which are big but they don't know where to go. They also spend time searching stuff. There's also time for debates, arguing, talking, making decisions. All eats up time. So I think the 9 hours is not too nicely for them. I mean, if they actually work together 100% of the time, they can get out with no problem and still have some to spare. That is absolutely correct. But you always forget, like, people are people, and people have a tendency not to get along with each other. That's what's causing the time loss, right? People arguing, bitching at each other, working against each other. Some people try to stab other people in the back somehow because their sense of survival is stronger than their logic. That all those psychological facts come all in. But in general, you're right. If they just work together and just shut their fucking mouths and just step over their own shadows and problems, they would get out of this pretty easily. But it's clear that this is not how humans work. So this is some sort of test. We don't know. We don't have enough information about the story yet. The helm. Well, steering wheel might be a more appropriate term. The thing won't budge. Feels like there's something keeping it in place. That would be the point. What would be the point of moving it? The ship is stopped. What would be the use of steering it? Yeah, no, still. There's another room on the other side of the window. That, I think, concludes everything here. A broken compass. It's a wooden board with a circular hole in it. The room is just like the other one. Metal plates bolted over the windows. Heck, not just bolted, it looks like they've been welded on. No way in hell we are going to get those off anytime soon. A compass. And what destiny does it point us to? I really hope you don't think that sounded cool. Oh no, you offended Grandpa. Compass. The needle is pointing north. Ah, a human hammer. They're often used to subdue large men like Seven. What? That was a joke, of course. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Ace, you really kinda suck at making jokes. That was rather cruel. Might be cruel, but it's true. He's not good at making jokes. Just like the one on the left. It's broken though. Can't really use something that is broken. Yes, I suppose you could call it a helm. Steering wheel might be more accurate, however. A well-polished steering wheel. Looks like it still moves. Jumpy is fucked up and evil. Don't be so mean to him. Compass. The needle is pointing north. An engine order telegraph. They use this on all ships to adjust the speed of the ship. Like the gear shifting in a car? Well, it's a little different. This device doesn't connect directly to the engine. In short, it's a transmitter. The navigation officer uses it to set the speed of the ship, and it sends a signal to the engine. There's a handle on top of it which can be moved back and forth to... Hold on. Huh? There's no handle. You're right, there isn't. It looks as though it was deliberately removed. An engine order telegraph. The handle's been taken off. If we can find a replacement handle, it could probably get it to move. What is this? Some kind of display? It looks like an electronic scoreboard. I imagine it was added recently. An arrival board like at the airport. There's nothing on it right now though. Nothing on the wall. There's some sort of square device embedded on this door. Looks like this is the only exit. Let's see if this will open. No dice. Must be locked. This brings us to the other room. Can't click on that part there. Can't go more to the left. It's a light. Well, I guess she doesn't really feel like talking. She's not really paying attention to anything, is she? Her mind must be somewhere else. The shelves are lined with books. Let's see what's in this blue one. There's something written on it. Ship's log. Huh? Ship's log, huh? New material has been added to the vinyl screen. None of these look useful. It's a wooden box. Maybe a case for letters? Hey Clover, you ever written letters? You ever write letters? Nothing. A chair. Clover isn't very talkative. She looks kinda out of it. I think she's... is she thinking about Snake? Okay. The dead is bolted to the wall here. Jumpy, are you trying to open the door? Forget it. It's pointless. Tried it earlier. It won't open. A map helps to have a map. It's got the Atlantic Ocean in the middle. Hey, Jumpy, what do you think these red things are? Yeah, they look like pins. What do you think they're for? Who knows? What do you mean, who knows? Come on, be serious. I am. Red pins on the map of the world. I wonder what they mean. Hey Jumpy, you sure you don't have any, like, hints or clues or something? Yeah. Let me see if they match up. A world map with the Atlantic Ocean in the center. There are a number of red pins in several locations. What do these red pins mean? Well, the nautical chart I picked up earlier have a map like this one. Maybe one of them matches up to the pins or something. Let's see. Well, what do you know? Looks like this one's a match to the pins. Okay, so we've got 7 locations connected by straight lines, and each one has a word next to it. That's probably the speed. New material has been added to the file screen. The file screen. Ship's log. A ship's log found in the chart room. The following is written on the last page. We leave soon for a new journey across the sea. After leaving port, we headed south and west. We turned southwest to steer around the continent, then proceeded northwest. We made port, then changed our heading to east for a time, and are now heading due north. Soon we will dock in the United Kingdom, the homeland of this vessel. A nautical table found in the chart room. It shows directions of southwest, southwest, northwest, east, north, and straight. There is a word next to each on the map. Full, half, slow, full, half, dead, stop. That's what it says. A chair. A chair. Clara isn't talking much. Well, I guess that's understandable. I mean, she's been through a lot. Really, it's more surprising that she's still together enough to talk at all. Nothing? Won't move. Another room. Nothing in the dresser. A desk. Anything in the drawers? No. Broken compass. No. None on the left, but it's broken. Telegraph handle's been taken off. Steering wheel. Let's see if it... Whoa! Looks like the steering wheel moves. So it would seem. I noticed something else as well. What's that? Well, when you move this wheel, the compass also moves. What do you mean? The ship, it's moving. Tricked you, didn't I? The wheel and the compass must be connected to one another somehow. Do you think that's important? Well, let's try turning it again. Oh no. Where am I even? Full of the full of the job. Oh my god, I'm using chat for my stuff. Steering wheel, steering wheel. You don't say. Yes. Southwest. Ah. Nothing is happening. Jumpy, this is almost certainly one of Zero's puzzles. There must be a clue here, somewhere, that will help us solve it. Have you found anything? Perhaps something with points on the compass on it? Yes, we did. Okay, first south. Next we go west. Next we go southwest. And then we go northwest. And then we go east. And then we go north. What the... The handle came off. Huh. Stooping so low. Are you, Zero? Found a handle. So, I sure hope this handle fits. Yes, it fits. Excellent. That should us allow to operate the engine or the telegraph. Let's give it a shot. Okay. 4. Off. Slow. 4. Off. Dead. I guess dead is dead slow. But head. Dead slow. And then stop. Huh? That's weird. Thought I put in the right speed. Did I mess up? No, I don't think so. Look, something's happened on the back on the wall of the wheelhouse. Yeah, you're right. Let's check it out. There's something on the wall that looks kind of like an arrival board. There are a whole bunch of words on the left side of the display. What the hell is this? There are names of ports across the world. I imagine it's showing us the ship's route. You know, just like the ones you might see at an airport. Departing XX carrier, XX flight, XX at XX .00. Like that. Oh, I get it. It does look like there are the names of all the ports along the ship's route. Or route. Hi, Bob. Thank you, Bob. Looks like only one of those has a time on it, though. The time on the last line, right? 10 seconds past 3 o'clock. Perhaps that's the arrival time? Maybe. The arrival board, the left side is filled with words. Looks like 10 seconds past 3 o'clock is the arrival time for the final destination. Not the final destination! That never ends well. But why are they showing even to the seconds? Digital scoreboard or something like that. The left side, it's got the names of the ports of the ship will stop along its route, or route. Route, it's actually route. The last line says 10 seconds past 3 o'clock. That must be the estimated time of arrival at the final port. Hmm? Oh, perhaps? Whoa, what is he doing? Excuse me, Chumpy. Hey, he just took my pocket watch. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Just trust me. Should be fine now. Well, thanks for giving me the pocket watch back, but you don't need to look so smug about it. Let's see what he... Oh, he moved the hands. 10 seconds past 3 o'clock. Oh, so you changed it to match the final arrival time. Ace nodded slowly. You know what to do next, right? Give it a shot. A pocket watch. The hands show 10 seconds past 3 o'clock. It's set to the same time as the estimated arrival time at the final destination. What are you doing? There's only one thing you do. One thing for you to do, you know? Now give it a try. Rah, 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 rah. Oh. I see. Looks like this is some sort of lock. It's got a weird shaped indentation on it. Actually, it's shaped just like this pocket watch I've got. Let's try putting it in there. Yes, it says open now. Good work. It seems you were successful. Well done, Jumpy. Hey! Clover! What? Look, we unlocked the door. Now we can get out of this room. Oh. Oh. Well, let's go then. Clover. Okay. That was fast.
Oh, a hallway.
That was fast. I don't remember that I actually did this room that fast. Okay.
It's far too narrow to be called one.
They found themselves in a small space outside of the wheelhouse. On the left was a wooden door.
This seems to be the only route.
Yeah, let's go.
Jumpy pushed it open and stepped into the room beyond.
Wow.
It was full of all manner of turn of the century electronic equipment.
Well, these machines are weird. I've never seen any of them before. Huh? Wait, this one is...
This is a telegram. Stop. Very interesting. Stop. I always do this in a courtroom. Stop. One smaller machine had a metal bar that ended in a circular handle. Ace seemed to recognize it.
Ah, yes. A telegraph key. These were used to transmit Morse code a long time ago.
He turned and slowly took in the room.
This must be the communication office.
Across the room from the door they'd entered through was another door.
And that door?
A metal plaque was nailed to it. It
Captain's
read,
quarters. Huh.
That's what it says.
Then, do you think...
and you have a terrible voice that is still terrible. Ace swallowed. Jumpy could feel his hands to begin to sweat. Only Clover seemed unaffected.
Well, we won't know if we don't open it.
She walked up to the door and put her hand on the knob. It opened easily, and without so much as a pause, she walked in. Jumpy and Ace followed. The first thing they saw was a man on the floor covered in ketchup. He certainly had too many hot dogs today. Jumpy felt his body seize up. His mouth went dry and he felt very, very cold. The blood in his veins slowed to a crawl, and his heart tightened like a fist of the North Star.
Not again.
This was the third time he'd seen the horror of death laid out before him. He didn't think it was something he could stand to see much more of. Still, he had begun to accept that whatever it was that he saw, whatever happened to him, was beyond his control, and whatever force it controlled him was driven by determination that he could not hope to match.
Damn.
A sense of helplessness, of desperation washed over him. It left behind a feeling of utter emptiness that wormed its way through his body like acid.
No, wait. We didn't check his pulse yet. Maybe he's still alive.
Fueled by that spark of hope, Jumpy ran to the man's body, and his heart fell. When he touched his hand to his neck,
No pulse.
his pupils has dilated, and he wasn't breathing.
Well, he's dead. Damn. If only we knew how it happened.
Jumpy lifted the man's already stiff body. There was a deep red wound on his chest.
These wounds. I wonder what killed him.
Probably a shark. Jumpy did not have to wander long.
It must have been this.
Oh God. I always tell people that Axe is not a good deodorant. Look what it does. All the ketchup over the floor and people. For lying next to the corpse was an axe. An entire blade of it was drenched in bright red ketchup. From the shape of the man's wound, there will be no doubt that it had been made by the axe. Jumpy looked at the body again. A lake of ketchup stretched out around it. It was wearing the clothes of a ship's captain, although they were stained with ketchup.
These clothes? A captain? Does that mean this guy was Zero?
On his left hand was a bracelet. The number on the bracelet was 0.
Bracelet 0.
It was only then that Jumpy noticed the stench of ketchup that filled the room. He couldn't help but laugh. There was nothing else for him to say. It was too simple, too obvious, too straightforward. If there hadn't been a dead man on the floor, Jumpy might have thought it a joke.
Junpei.
It may be wise to find a way out of here first.
Yeah, you're right.
Honor! Welcome to the communication room. We have a bed, a table, a chair, this, a camera, a door. There's ketchup on the chair. Do you think this was the dead guys? Yeah, probably. There's ketchup on the chair. Kinda creeping me out. A camcorder. Looks like it's pointed at the door. Well, the power's on. Why would somebody want to videotape a door? I think this kind of camera records to a hard drive, but it doesn't look like this one's recording anything. What do you mean? It's just sending whatever it sees to something. What does it see? The door. The control panel for the electronic lock. I guess I've got to put in a passcode. I don't think it's just about numbers. There's a hole in the bottom of it, right there. I think you need to put a key in first. So this is the exit, huh? I don't even really have to try this door to know that it's locked. I knew it. There's a lamp with a shade on it on the table. And something else. Something metal. It looks like a music box. It's all coming together. It's linked to Ace Attorney. It's a lamp. But it doesn't turn on. I don't think there's anything special about it. We have found the music box, therefore we can blame it all on Bruno. Oh, it's one of those old music boxes. How about we wind it up? Why is it sound like that? Oh, that's Clover. Why does it sound like that? Is it broken? Pins on the cylinder are shaped all weird. I don't think those are pins. Looks like someone put something else on top of it. I think we're gonna have to take it apart to figure out what's going on, don't you? A bed. There's nothing in it. Nothing on the walls. Cannot click on that. Cannot click on... looks like batteries. There's cable running from them to the monitor. What's the deal with this? Is it some kind of code? There are 4 rows of numbers and letters. They all start with a 0 and end with 8, F, N, or V respectively. Maybe this has something to do with the number bases? New material has been added to the file screen. There's a bunch of weird buttons here. You probably switch what you see on the screens. Do you know how to work this thing? Why don't we just press one of these? Like this one. Well, I guess it does change the... What the hell is this? There's nothing on the monitor. Just static. Hey, isn't the door on that screen the one right behind us? You're right. So whatever the camera sees is sent to this screen in real time. I wonder if that means something, you know?
Huh.
Jumpy snorted with a grim humor for the second time since he'd come into the room. The 4 screens along the bottom had a single letter each spelling out
Z-E-R-O, huh? It's like he's making fun of us. What do you think?
He turned to Clover, who was standing next to him. Clover nodded.
Nothing.
It seemed that she cared about Little. Of course, Jumpy could hardly blame her. Given the strain she was surely under, Jumpy was somewhat surprised she had responded at all. Still, he had to ask. He gestured toward the corpse.
What about him? Do you think that's really Zero?
Clover shook her head weakly.
There's no way that's him. Didn't I tell you already? Zero is one of us.
Yeah, right. Well, even if he wasn't one of us, there's no way that man could be Zero.
Huh?
Don't you get it? The letters that spell Zero on the TV screen, the captain's clothes he's got on, and of course, the bracelet with a 0 on it. It's too obvious. Look, this is Zero right here. This dead body is Zero. Isn't that kind of fishy?
You're right. Only an idiot wouldn't see through something like that.
No, that's not the point. So I'm not trying to make fun of them for thinking a trick like this would work. I'm sure they didn't think it would work, which makes me wonder.
That I wasn't paid to spell out the last part of this sentence. Why did they do it?
I think this is a challenge. A challenge from the person who's really behind all of this. He's making fun of us. Don't you get it? If whoever killed this guy really wanted us to think this corpse was Zero, they'd never have put a bracelet on him. Walking around with a 0 bracelet would be like hanging a sign around your neck that said, "I did it!" Anyone with a brain would be able to see that this guy is supposed to look like everything Zero is supposed to be. Just like we did. The killer must have known we wouldn't think he was Zero and put the bracelet on him anyway. Do you know why?
Why?
Like I said, he's mocking us. Too bad, suckers, this isn't Zero. Where's the real me then? See if you can catch me. It's the same bad joke a lot of criminals like to play. They'll just sit back and watch people run in circles.
That's really twisted. But it almost seems kind of childish.
Yeah, you're right. It's really childish. It's like it's just a game to whoever this person is. That's what seems funny to me.
Jumpy bent down next to the corpse.
All right, let's get back to the point. Who killed this man?
I don't know.
And what's this guy's deal? Who is he?
How would I know that? If I knew anything, I would have told you.
You have no idea who he is.
Why would I?
Jumpy sat back on his haunches and thought.
We should check and see if he's got anything on him that might tell us who he is. Give me a hand here, Clover.
Huh?
We gotta flip him over. How else are we gonna search his pockets?
Clover didn't move.
Okay, fine. Guess I'll do it.
Jumpy had no choice but to move the body on his own.
Here we go.
He grabbed hold of an area not completely covered in ketchup and shoved. It took a moment, but eventually Jumpy felt the man's bulk begin to shift. But just as it did,
Huh?
something fell from the man's left wrist.
Hey, it's the
bracelet with 0 on the face.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so.
I loved his voice.
1. You escape from this ship. 2. Your heartbeat reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or the outside of the wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
Oh God.
Jumpy stared at the bracelet.
This man, he's dead, isn't he?
No, he's actually just sleeping. This is a power nap, Jumpy.
Huh?
No, it's just, I guess I didn't really think about it until right now. If his bracelet's off, that means he's dead.
Well, it's pretty obvious that he's dead. You don't really need to look at his bracelet to figure out that he's dead.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It is pretty obvious. Well, he looks a lot better than the other bodies we've seen, though. You know?
Yeah, this is not the right moment to make such a joke, Jumpy.
mean, if there wasn't all this blood, he'd almost look like he was still alive. I mean, I know it's kind of a messed up thing to say, but he kinda has it better, you know? Dying from a bomb going off inside of you, I mean, that's just... Some of Snake's bones went right through his skin.
Yes, Jumpy, please continue.
I think the explosion must have thrown him against a wall or something.
Why is he not stopping?
There was a broken bone just sticking out of his left arm. And,
Suddenly, Jumpy realized what he was saying. How could he have been so cruel? He clapped his hands over his mouth. But it was already too late. He turned to look at Clover. She was glaring at him furiously.
What did you just say?
Her words sounded cold. He knew an apology could hardly atone for what he'd done, but he tried anyway.
oh man, I am so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I really don't know what I was thinking. I mean...
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What did you say about his arm?
Arm?
Yes, his left arm. You said it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I did, but... I mean, didn't you see it too?
Of course not. I could barely look at him. There's no way I was gonna see the details.
Clover took a quick, deep breath.
Are you sure it was his left arm?
Jumpy thought back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
And he had a broken bone, right?
What the hell are you getting at here?
Just shut up and answer me!
She shoved her face closer to his. He could see the fire in her eyes. Jumpy winced and swallowed.
Yeah, he did. It was pretty bad, too. The bone was sticking out of the arm.
No sooner were the words out of his mouth than Clover's expression changed.
Clover? What's wrong? Look, I'm sorry if I said anything.
Suddenly, she was crying. Jumpy wasn't sure what to do.
Thank you.
It was close to the last thing he had expected to hear.
Huh? What are you...
Jumpy had no idea what had just happened. He didn't think he would done anything worthy of thanks, and he couldn't understand why she would have chosen that moment to begin crying. So he simply stood there, confused.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She thanked him again, and then something even stranger happened. Clover threw herself into Jumpy's surprised arms.
Hey, what's going on with you?
I'm sorry, it's just... I'm so happy!
Why?
The body in the shower room, it isn't his! It isn't my brother!
Huh?
It's not Snake!
Why on earth would you think that?
Because his left arm is...
I'm lost here. She's about to explain it. She stopped herself.
I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be talking about this.
Jumpy decided it would be prudent not to press her for any more information. If she did not wish to tell him, she certainly had a reason for doing so. Perhaps more importantly, however, if Clover was so certain, then she was likely right. That meant that the body in the shower room wasn't Snake. It wasn't much, but that knowledge lifted some of the weight from Jumpy's heart.
But he's still alive. I'm so happy.
Tears shone in her eyes. Those tears melted Jumpy's heart. As she cried, she had pushed herself up against his chest like a child. Jumpy put his arms around her and held her tight.
I'm so happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love. If you can remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck.
Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out.
That's...
There was a laminated bookmark with a 4-leaf clover.
I only made it here because you gave me this. I was suspicious of everybody, and I was angry and miserable. But because I had this 4-leaf clover, because of what you said to me,
Yeah.
Jumpy hadn't thought his words would have such an effect on her. Her words were making him feel a little awkward.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She looked up at him. He scratched his nose and pretended not to notice something interesting somewhere else in the room.
Oh, if you really want to thank somebody, you should be thanking Santa.
Santa? Why?
Well, he was the one who gave me that thing. And the words for each leaf, I got that from him too.
Oh.
Then suddenly, Clover broke away from Jumpy.
Huh?
He looked confused. He hadn't thought she would react that poorly. Clover began to pace across the room. Six steps to the left, 6 steps to the right, another 6 to the left, and then she stopped.
Did Santa really tell you those things?
Her eyes were serious, but not angry.
Yeah, he did. Did I say something wrong?
Oh no, not at all. In fact, this could be really good news, I think.
You think?
Santa knew about the words and the clover. The only people who should know about that are the other subjects.
Subjects?
The other people who were in the experiment 9 years ago, with my brother and me.
Huh?
But he's blind, and I was part of the Nevada test group. So neither of us would be able to recognize the faces of the people who were on this boat.
Whoa, okay, time out.
Jumpy held up his hands. He took a deep breath and let it out.
Let's just calm down for a second, okay? Start from the top. Don't start with the end and then jump to the middle. You gotta start with 1 and then move to 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. If you don't tell me stuff in the right order, I'm never gonna be able to figure it out.
Okay.
Clover nodded.
All right, let's start with this experiment. What happened on this boat 9 years ago?
Do you know about morphogenetic fields?
Morphogenetic fields?
He did, and the realization sent chills down Jumpy's spine.
All right, how about this? Theory of the telepathic mechanism.
I think Lotus mentioned something like that.
Jumpy recounted what Lotus had told him earlier. Clover nodded.
Telepathy, huh? Well, that's not really it, but I suppose it's similar.
So they were testing telepathy on this ship?
Yeah, I guess so.
So what exactly did they have you guys do?
The same thing that we're doing now. Exactly the same thing.
What?
The nonary game. 9 people were put on this boat, and 9 others were put in the building in Nevada, and the game started.
Jumpy grabbed the sides of his head.
Look, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. What do the nonary game and some telepathy experiment have to do with each other? Am I missing something here?
Clover bit her lip. She blinked back sudden tears. What had happened to her in Nevada?
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger. You know how sometimes when you're up against a really tough problem, and then the answer just kind of pops in your head? That's an epiphany. And what you learn from the epiphany can be transmitted with telepathy. When you add danger to that equation, then it gets easier to transmit that information over telepathy.
So you're saying the nonary game was supposed to introduce that element of danger?
Yeah, but it couldn't be just any old danger. It had to be life and death. And someone did actually die. A girl.
Huh.
Jumpy felt sudden grip of despair on his heart. Something deep and distant and powerful squeezed, and for a moment he felt very, very empty and alone.
She was on the boat with my brother. I was in Nevada. I never met her, but I did hear her name. Her name was...
The sound of the door opening was like a gunshot. Jumpy spun around.
Oh, my apologies. I seem to have disturbed you.
Ace!
You two must have strong stomachs. I can't imagine how you could stay in this room for so long.
Ace glanced down at the floor. At the corpse covered in ketchup.
At any rate, Junpei, would you be so kind as to come and help me with something? I'm having a little trouble and I could really use your assistance. Come on, it'll only take a moment.
With that, he turned and walked back toward the communications office. Clover waited until he was out of sight, then spoke in a small, quiet voice.
I don't want Ace to hear us. We can talk about this later.
Huh? Hey, wait!
Clover ignored him. From outside, Jumpy could hear Ace calling.
Junpei, what are you doing in there? Hurry up!
Grumbling to himself, Jumpy stomped off toward the communications office. Back we are, in this room, with only two options. Look, a hook! That wasn't a joke. I know, man. A clock mounted on the wall. The hands aren't moving. Little surprised that the time is wrong, then, I suppose. And there's nothing on the back. A light. It looks like a pretty flower. Hey Ace, look. It's a monkey with glasses. How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? Hey Ace, look. It's a model of a steam train. How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? Welcome back. A pair of headphones. I can't hear anything. Guess whatever were connected doesn't work anymore. Did you still listen to the stream wheel noise? What? No, I missed what happened. Wasn't here. When did you leave? Like, what was the last thing we were doing here when you still were here? I said RFK. Yes, but I don't remember at what point I was when you said that. were we still in the wheel room where you control the ship? You had talked with Clover about numbers and then entered the room with wheel. So basically we, but didn't start going through it yet. Okay, so basically we solved that puzzle room basically by interacting with the wheel and inputting certain directions, which then gave us a handle. With this handle we could then start to control the speed. And we inputted the speed we found in the informations we have found earlier. Then we got an arrival time on that display we found in the steering room, which we inputted into the pocket watch, and then we used that watch. And then we used that watch to actually get out of that room into the communications office here. There's another room here. In this other room here, which is the captain's room, we found the captain, a dead person. He was dead, lying on the floor, killed with an axe. He was wearing a blue captain's uniform. He had also a bracelet with the 0 on it. But we established that this is certainly not 0 himself. The bracelet, on the other hand, came off, which means he was truly dead, because the bracelet is only coming off if you leave this or you are dead. And we talked with Clover, we started to talk about how this body was luckier than the body of Snake we found, because Snake exploded, right? And this one was just killed with an axe. And over the course of this going on about the dead body of Snake, which was pretty rude, how did it survive? What survived? No, the captain had a bracelet with a 0 on it, but he was killed with an axe. And because he was dead, the bracelet came off from his wrist, because it's the only way apart from leaving the game. Going through door number 9 and leaving will make the bracelet be able to remove it. And the only way is your heart rate reaches 0. Because the captain was dead, his bracelet came off. So why is dying different? Because the captain was killed with an axe. The axe was next to his body. He was literally killed with it. So how does the bracelet know your heart rate is actually 0? Because it's a bracelet with a heart rate sensor? Well, I cannot tell you that. I mean, my assumption is the bracelet measures your heart rate, and if it doesn't recognizes a heart rate anymore, then it assumes you are dead. But if you I assume the bracelets have other sensors that would recognize that you would try to tamper with the bracelet. If you try to forcefully remove it or anything like that, it would probably still get the bomb activated. That's my best assumption. So if you slip a piece of paper between the bracelet, it's all good to take off. I think a piece of paper is not good enough. It's a pretty strong light for heart rate sensors usually. That would go through a piece of paper. Regardless, we were basically talking to Clover and said like that this guy is more lucky than Snake because this guy didn't explode with a bomb and so on. And then we realized how rude we were, and suddenly Clover actually reacted completely differently. She was extremely happy and thanked us about that what we said, and she told us Snake is still alive. And then we actually started to talk about that experiment that was happening 9 years ago on this ship, and how Clover was in the Project Nevada, and on the ship were the other people, including I think her brother. And she also told us that to make telepathy work better with this invisible force field we talked about before, that this information is transmitted more better, is when you have an epiphany, aka suddenly a solution to a problem that is bothering you. That's an epiphany. That this helps to make this easier, but also danger. But not just normal danger, but life and death situation danger. And they basically played exactly this same game here 9 years ago. And apparently a girl died back then. So if your hand comes off, what happens? I would probably say that the bomb deactivates. But how many people would voluntarily cut off their hand? This is not Saw, by the way. Looks though that drawer is the only thing that's locked. Ah yeah, and then Ace came into the room and we stopped to talk about the experiment and we followed him back into the communications room. And here we are. I don't see a keyhole though. An electric lock perhaps? Take a look at the left side of the drawer. Yeah, there are some cables over there. Must mean... Hey, what's this? It's blank. There's nothing written on it. Piece of paper. I do know. I don't think heart rate sensors are good with the light, though yet again didn't some of the characters have the watch on their clothes? Yeah. Some had it on the clothes, yes. Maybe it uses not a light to check the heart rate. It could also use electricity, so to speak. I can't tell you. I don't know. A white piece of paper. It's blank. We also found there's a music box that doesn't really play music. Does that sound familiar to you? This is the crossover section to Ace Attorney. Music box. Would you wind it up first, would you wind it up first, Jumpy? It sounds rather odd. What's this? Pins on the cylinder look rather strange. In fact, these don't look like pins at all. It looks to be some sort of board. We need to dismantle it to get a better look. This is a really long cable. The tip is hooked onto one of the desk's drawer. Basically there. We already clicked on the headphones, nothing specific. We kind of made fun of this looking like a monkey face and this like steam engine, something like that. It's a telegraph key, a machine for transmitting Morse code. Stop. I tried sending an SOS earlier, but stop. I doubt that did anything. Stop. Zero would never make it that easy. Stop. So you think it's broken? Stop. No, it works. Stop. I'm just not sure if it actually transmits anything outside of the ship. Stop. Stop. Hey Ace, look. There's a big ass rat trap over here. I told you, that's a telegraph key. It's a device that transmits messages through Morse code. Okay, so what if you take a belt and tighten it around your arm to stop the blood flow? In all honesty, that is a terrible idea. If you stop blood flow to your arm, then your arm will start dying. And that's not a thing that you can turn back with more blood flow again. No pulse for the watch. I don't know. You're trying to enforce things into this game that is not in the game. I don't say the game is flawless. It's an old telegraph machine. Nothing suspicious here. It's an old telegraph machine. I'll be honest, I have no idea how it works. Small screwdrivers. A set of small screwdrivers. Perhaps we can use them to dismantle small devices? I found ink. A bottle of ink. It's filled with ink. There's nothing in the drawer anymore. Nuh-uh. There's air. How old are you? 9? Yes. Didn't we also get something in the files? Not sure. No. Okay. Those are our current items. Feel free to give me instructions. And yes, we basically we looked at everything in this room. There's nothing more to interact with or actually do something at the moment. We have these items in our inventory. Yes, instructions, please. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Come on, Wildenus. Alright, the screwdriver ought to make short work of this music box. And we got a cylinder. It looks to be a cylinder for a music box. There are a number of pins on some pieces of metal that look rather like fans attached to it. Oh no, my chat is dead. Come on, chat. This is your time to shine. It's Ryan time. Can't type, I'm dead. No! Revive episode. Combine with ink. I guess I put the ink on the cylinder? A dirty cylinder. Now I just gotta roll the cylinder across the piece of paper. And if I'm right, the ink should... You got a Morse code chart. Just as you suspected, right? Now you have a pattern of dots and lines on the paper. I imagine it's Morse code. Those dots and lines are the dots and dashes of Morse code. Oh my god. Yes, please continue. These are the only two screens here. Any notes about Morse? Nope. We do have, on the other hand, like this. Telegram. Okay, let me open my Telegram. Telegraph key. There's no cheese on it, unfortunately. Alright, I've got the Morse code I'm supposed to enter. If I do this right, something will happen. I hope. Alright, let's give it a shot. Oh god, now I have to do this. It's the last one, and yes. Excellent work, Jumpy. Good job. You seem to have figured it out. You've unlocked the drawer. A red file lay in the drawer. Jumpy reached down and picked it up.
It looks like there's something on the cover. ALLICE. All ice. Alice. Does this mean...
Jumpy couldn't hold back. He had to know what was in that file. Each page was covered with strange characters. They looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, wings, and even kneeling humans. The curse of Ra. Ra, Ra, Ra. There were many pages in the file, and each was full of these strange symbols.
What the hell is this?
Chumpy never went to school, so Chumpy has no idea that this is Egyptian. This is like Ace Attorney level of intelligence. He didn't realize he'd spoken out loud until Ace looked over at him. Nice. I'm surprised Twitch chat allows that. Actually, I'm not, but that's good. I like that. Or manual of how to play Angry Birds. That would be fantastic. You know, that would be the biggest prank of the entire history of the world. You go back in time to ancient Egypt just to write this, which is just an instruction how to play Angry Birds. Nobody knows back then what Angry Birds is, but later on, archaeologists find these and go like, oh my god, what does it mean? Always has been. Yes.
They are hieroglyphs, a form of writing used in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt?
That's right.
Can you read them?
Of course. I can't. What would make you think I could?
Of course you can read this. I mean, every school around the globe is teaching ancient Egypt to their students. Time-traveling tomfoolery. Yes. The final gremlin move.
What the hell?
Jumpy flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just 1 or 2 pages that were covered in the strange symbols. Of course I can speak this language from thousands of years ago. Yes. Did you actually know we know how to speak ancient Egypt? which is really amusing. Hi there, Bob. Shall do so, Bob. Thank you. Stretching is good, yeah. Every single page was covered in them. Yes, historians have deciphered the language, yes.
Whoa, the whole thing's like that.
Trying to read was pointless. Chumpy wasn't going to waste any more time with them. He made to close the file. And something fell out.
Huh? What's this?
He bent down and picked it up.
Oh, a key card.
There was a symbol on it that reminded Chumpy of the symbol for Saturn and Mercury key cards. This one, however, had a dot in the center and of the male symbol.
Uranus. That's the Uranus symbol.
Yes, your anus. Chumpy looked over to see Ace examining the card. In addition to the Uranus symbol, there were 3 words engraved on the card as well.
Something's written on the bottom.
If you read this, the bottom is standing in front of you.
Bottom deck library. This must be the key to the library then.
So it would seem.
Bottom deck library. Oh.
El Biblioteca. Jumpy remembered something he'd heard from Seven when he'd been in the chemical closet.
Seven said something like.
The chemical closet. Yes. Oxygen.
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the forest of knowledge beneath the navel of the gigantic.
Could beneath the navel mean the bottom deck, and the forest of knowledge is the library? Then could Alice be in a room somewhere beyond the library?
What's wrong? Something on your mind?
Chumpy blinked. Only then did he notice Ace looking at him, curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts.
Yeah. I just remembered something.
Is that so? What about?
Well, don't laugh, okay?
There was no reason for Chumpy to hide his thoughts. He began to explain this theory to Ace. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. So he told Ace everything June had told him.
The Egyptian priestess and Ice 9. Interesting.
And the woman who wouldn't melt, who was recovered from the Titanic disaster? They called her All Ice, which eventually turned into Alice. And she was purchased by an English millionaire who called himself Lord Gordain. According to Seven, this ship is where he hid Alice.
And you think that he hid her in a small room, beyond the library on the bottom deck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is just a theory.
A visual novel. Ace stared off into the distance, his hand slowly absent-mindedly stroking his beard. After a few moments, his hand stopped. He turned slowly to look at Chumpy, and his brows drew together.
Junpei, have you ever heard of the term CAS?
Cass?
It stands for Cells Alive System. It is an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic matter. Put simply, it is a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals.
Close air support. Almost.
Normally, if you freeze something fresh, water within its cells expands as it crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane. CAS, however, works differently. The object to be frozen is supercooled using magnetic fields, and then frozen instantly and uniformly, giving ice crystals no time to form. It was originally developed for the preservation of food, as an alternative to the normal freezing process. Now, however, there are rumors that it can be used for other things.
What do you mean, other things?
Well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps also space travel.
Space travel? Are you serious?
Surely you've heard of suspended animation, cryogenic freezing? It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space.
That was when Chumpy understood what Ace was suggesting.
Whoa, wait a minute there.
Ace looked at him and raised an eyebrow. An eyebrow.
Are you saying that Alice was frozen using that CAS thing?
Well, I'm sure the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility. If this special ice you call Ice 9 does indeed exist, and CAS were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously.
You think she could be alive?
Well, I can't say for sure, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities. The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right?
I don't speak. I don't speak Imperial.
If she were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature...
That's nuts. Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking about?
You're quite right. It does sound unbelievable. But if she had, then we would have an explanation for the man we found dead on the floor.
You mean the guy dressed like a captain?
Yes. He was dead when we found him. Clearly, he was murdered.
So Alice is the one who attacked at the bad ending? I don't know. We didn't see the person.
But if he was murdered, then by whom? It couldn't have been one of us. That would be impossible. In order to enter the captain's quarters, one must first open door 1. That door that requires the Earth key prevented us from accessing door 1. Who was it that opened that door?
Santa and Lotus.
Right. Clearly, the two of them could not have opened door 1, or any other door for that matter. Who else then could have done so?
Jumpy thought for a second.
Nobody. After Santa and Lotus used the Earth Key, they turned back and met up with me and June. Then we returned to the large hospital room and found Ace, Seven, and Clover. While we'd gone into the shower room, Ace, Seven, and Clover had stayed behind. But it's impossible for those three to open door 1. But what about when June and I took the elevator to door 2? No, still won't work. We were only gone 5 minutes. No human being could have run to the captain's quarters, killed that guy in there, and run back that fast.
It would be impossible for any of us to be the murderer. That being the case, who could have killed him? Wouldn't it make sense if his killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time? A person like that would know the ship well. They would know the locations of all the hidden passages and secret doors. The numbered door would mean nothing to someone like that. It would be a simple thing for them to enter the captain's quarters.
Then you're saying the killer was Alice?
It was Jumpy's turn to raise an eyebrow. Is there any ending where you run out of time because of talking too much? That would be funny, but no. I like the thinking, though, with noise. I'll note that down. Ace drew his thumb across his lips thoughtfully.
Well, this is all only one possible theory.
All ice. Alice. Is she really somewhere on the ship?
Jumpy had only one clue. The key card in his hand.
Maybe this card will give me access to the Forest of Knowledge. And the big mystery. What could be there beyond the Forest of Knowledge? Anyway, whatever. It's gonna have to wait. I can't do anything right now. I'll come back to this later.
He gripped the key card tighter and shoved it deeper into his pocket. New material has been added to the file screen. That is not the file screen. This is the file screen. A file found in the communications office. It says all eyes on the spine. All of the pages are filled with hieroglyphics from ancient Egypt. Cannot turn this. No. So what else? What else are we going to do? Please input instructions. Morse for help on from another ship. I don't think that works. It's an electronic key. Oh. Telegraph key. No need to mess around with it anymore. Yes, what else? No, we cannot. We are stuck in this puzzle room here. This room you haven't seen. So we have found this, a lot of monitors. We clicked on a button on the keypad and it turned to this. static, static. This shows this, because there's a camera that does a live feed of this passcode thing, which is shown here, and the word 0 below. We need a passcode. We don't have one. This is where the captain was murdered, which we cannot see, by the way. There's nothing in the bed. We picked up the music box from this table. There's nothing else there. This is just a chair. This is just a live feed camera. This is where we input the passcode. It's a little rectangular, rectangular hole. I think it's a keyhole of some sort. With the right key, I should be able to unlock it. This is the exit door. There's nothing more, anything here. We found something in this drawer, I think, but we already used it. I think we found the screwdrivers in that big drawer. There's nothing left and right. This is a battery, by the way. That's all we know about this room. What the monitors do. There's a Z on this screen. There's an E on this screen. There's an R on this screen. There's an O on this screen. There's nothing on the monitor, just static. This screen is showing the door behind us. There's nothing on the monitor, just static. This one... this is one of those things that can switch what's on the screen. Let's see what happens if I flip one of these switches. Nothing. Looks like it doesn't work anymore. Nor. Does the camera do anything? Looks like whatever the camera sees shows up on the screen behind us. Yeah, so if I put my hand here in front of it, it shows up on the middle of the top screen back there. You've got a short lifeline, Jumpy. Hey, mind your own business. Camera's pointing at the exit. Click on the ceiling, not on the light, not on the walls. Cannot click on this. What did the number pad look like? Anything else in the room? No. We tried everything. There's nothing, no new to interact within this room. It's a hook for hanging clothes, I think. How many numbers the keypad needs? I think we don't know, because we cannot interact with it. No dice. It doesn't matter what I push here, it's not working. I don't think the power's on. It's a little rectangular hole. I think it's a keyhole of some sort. The right key should be able to unlock it. The display is dark. I guess the power isn't on. Any other rooms? No. To make it easier, there's something in this room. Does any of the switches work on the wall? There. You mean these? It's an old telegraph machine. Nothing suspicious here. It's an old telegraph machine. I'll be honest, I have no idea how it works. That is not clickable. What's the recorder thingy with wheels? That's the telegraph. Whenever I click on this, I go to the telegraph. On the left. Well, it also kinda looks like someone who's been watching too much TV. To be honest, I have no goddamn idea of what this thing really is. It's probably some kind of radio transmitter. To be honest, I have no goddamn idea what this thing really is. It's probably some kind of radio transmitter. Any of the drawers. Oh. There's nothing inside there. There's nothing in the drawer anymore. No, I cannot take the wire. There are some cables on the desk. A unique key. Click the drawers there, but I can do this. And we already found whatever in here was. I think the ink was there. There's nothing in the drawer anymore. Control panel of an electric lock. Looks like it's got a keyhole at the bottom right. Maybe the key I got earlier. Sweet. Just had to put the key in and now it's on. Jumpy, look! There's a minus sign on the screen. There are 8 of them. That probably means we've got to put in 8 digits. Do you think you can figure it out? And nothing easier than to brute force 8 numbers, right? You know? 8 digits, huh? Once I've put the 8-digit number, I just press E to enter it. And if I mess up, I guess I'll just press C. Alright, let's give it a shot. So it's gonna be 6 to 1, 420. And probably 69. Seems not the case. Huh? What's the passcode? I'm pretty sure I've searched every part of this room by now. I'll look at alphabet from Wikipedia. Why? Once upon a time. I don't know how many letters till letters. Letters till letters. Okay. Sorry? Any conclusions yet? Yes, indeed. Uh, 20? Wait, 1 second. One more time. 26, 05, 1815. Apparently not. Despite that the import is not correct in the sense of what you try to do. I wonder why this screen just shows the exit. I mean, it's just a door. I know, right? The 4 on the bottom just say 0. The exit. And those 4 letters. Maybe. Let's try something. Six, 5, 1, 8, 1, 5. 026 518 15. Oh. Well, I tried. Oh no. What if it is that? I don't think so. Oh. Shit, wrong again. Jumpy, did you find a list of numbers and letters? Don't you think that might be a clue? Huh? Did we? We found this. Probably she means something here. This is what we found. Whoops. Yeah, I was like, wait, we found like this. Okay, a numerical system chart found in the captain's quarters, 10 in base 10, is written as A in hexadecimal. Therefore, 11 is B, 12 is C, 13 is D, 14 is E, and so on. This chart showed the rules for each numerical system. 25 04 1714. Nope. Which is wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Six 15 28 25. Nope. Wait, did I input it wrong? No, actually I didn't. Congratulations, yes. I was like, we put in 36 and then I counted it to Z and was like, wait, it's 35. Is this the only misplaced one? But apparently not. Yes. It worked. Good job, Jumpy. Excellent. You seem to have unlocked it. Good work, Jumpy. Alright, let's go. Into the void. You found it. Also, flowchart wise, we are now down here. They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched out in front of Jumpy for a bit before turning left, like a great backward L.
All right, let's go.
Jumpy rounded the corner and took off down the straightaway. He ran, and ran, and ran, and found Ranma half. At the end of a hallway was a door.
That's the next door.
He made straight for it.
Wait, a piece of paper.
He was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor. Jumpy skidded to a halt.
This is...
He dropped down onto his hands and knees and quickly tore the paper off the floor.
Map of the ship's interior for A-Deck.
Skedaddle. Whoosh.
What's wrong?
Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age, had finally caught up to Jumpy.
I found a map for this floor.
He showed Ace what he snatched from the wall. He looked at it long enough to determine what it was and nodded.
I see.
With that, he began running again past Jumpy.
Well, that was anticlimactic. I should keep this, though.
Jumpy shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow Ace. But something stopped him.
Hey, where's Clover?
He turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen. I see.
Damn it, what the hell is she up to?
Jumpy muttered angrily under his breath and took off back the way he'd come. Hi there, Dylan. How's it going? I'm a cat. As he stomped around the corner, he saw her. I'm doing fine, thank you. She was standing in front of the door to the captain's quarters, her hand on the doorknob.
Clover!
Huh?
As Jumpy watched, she closed it gently and quietly.
What the hell are you doing?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pocket of her jacket, and as if trying to hide something.
What the hell is that?
What?
And there's my bot of the day. Oh no, the bot got eaten.
You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
Oh, this? This is a note.
A note?
Yeah, I found it in the pocket of the guy with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister hand or something.
What the hell? Let me see it.
No, not right.
But Jumpy wasn't going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice.
Hey, Junpei, Clover! What are you two doing? Hurry up!
Yes, what are you doing?
He's getting mad.
Clover shrugged.
I'll show it to you later, all right? Come on, we gotta hurry.
Before Jumpy could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the L. A note? A note. Jumpy was curious, but there was something else that bothered him.
From the look of that pocket, it doesn't particularly look like just a note. Jeez, what are you thinking? For crying out loud.
Jumpy did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later and ran after Clover. Well, it feels really good to hear your voice after such a long time. Well, thank you. Jumpy pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs.
The big stairs. So this is where it ends up.
Back into the beginning.
Just like it says on the map.
It was just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. His "I see" after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing.
Ace, did he head down?
He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down.
Oh, there he is.
Look, the 4 others are there too.
But there's nobody there. And not just Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well.
Really?
Let's join them.
Jumpy and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time.
Jumpy! Clover!
June's face was excited. Something had happened that much Jumpy could tell by simply looking at her.
What's up?
Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself.
We found it!
We found it!
Found what?
We found it!
What did you find?
Why can't people just say the real context of what they want to say? It's like, we found it! Like, cool, zero context.
The last door! We found door 9!
What?
Come on, just follow us. We'll explain on the way.
Okay.
Seven turned and jogged off down the stairs.
Well, if that's the case...
Wait for me.
We should get going as well.
The rest followed.
Jumpy! We finally made it!
The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt.
Yeah, it's finally time.
Jumpy wasn't quite ready to believe they had really done it, or at least not just yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door number 9, then it probably was.
We've reached the end.
He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that prospect of escape was an exciting one.
Something's bothering me. Only 3 to 5 people can go through the numbered door. 7 of us are on our way to door 9. That means that, best case scenario, there will be 2 of us who have to stay behind. 2 people. Is there a way?
Jumpy looked over at the clock.
4:30. We've only got 90 minutes left. I've got no time to wonder about it now.
Hey, Junpei! June! What the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up!
Santa's voice jolted Jumpy out of his reverie.
Let's go, Jumpy!
June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could.
Yeah.
Jumpy followed. As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down to E deck. It looked familiar. There was a metal grate between the two elevators. Seven grabbed hold of it and began to talk.
I know I told you I'd explain it earlier, but honestly, there ain't much to explain. After we split off from you guys, the four of us got into the elevator on the left, and that took us to the other side of the grate. After that, we headed down another hallway. It took us toward the bow and eventually to the number 6 that you two found earlier.
Someone should make a movie where the characters are constantly talking about something, but it's not told to the person watching. But it's like all explained at the end. But instead of explaining anything at the end, nothing is explained at the end. And the actual story is the story told on the side. There's no explanation, and it's just watch the part 2 and then watch the next part. But still won't explain that what the characters are even talking about. But all the characters know what they are talking about, but it's left out. What? Don't you like random exposition of things and theories while your life is on stake? At stake, actually.
We opened it and kept going. There was another locked door behind it, like usual, but this time we had to complete 2 different areas before we could unlock it. Once we were through that door, there was another hallway that went the other direction, toward the stern.
So, on your way, you found the elevator.
That's right.
So, in other words, you kinda did a lap, huh? You came from that side to this side.
Yeah.
With that settled, Jumpy looked around.
So, where's the number 9 door?
Over here.
Whoops, sorry. Seven began walking down the hallway that led toward the stern. Jumpy and the others broke into a jog to keep up with him.
By the way,
They had been walking for a while, June's in silent step with Jumpy when she spoke.
you know, it's because of Santa that we're all here right now.
Huh?
That all 7 of us are going to door 9. You don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus. What's their digital route?
Is it 9?
9. It's 9.
That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they'd wanted to.
But they didn't.
Yes, because Santa wouldn't let them. He said we can't leave June and the others behind. That's why we went looking for you guys.
And then you got on the elevator and went back to the central staircase.
That's right.
Well, I wouldn't have called that one. That Santa would be the one to stick up for you, I mean.
Jumpy felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Perhaps June had sensed Jumpy's concern.
I don't mean that 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just talking about it, and Santa objected to it first.
Is that so?
Jumpy was about to respond when 7 suddenly stopped.
We're here.
In front of them stood a door.
So, is this...
Yeah.
Jumpy couldn't see Seven's face, but he could see him nod.
There's no other place for us to go.
Nope. Just look around. There's a big old iron wall at the end of the hallway.
Oh no. And then the story loosely connects to the storyline of the first part, but then it takes a U-turn and the whole genre of the movie changes, and all characters change, and then it's just another movie with no connection to anything. Then it ends to the scene where the first movie's story started from, and you wait for the explanation, but then it just shows the same scene again, and the movie ends, and it's like, watch next part. amazing. I would watch that. But I think nobody would finance that kind of movie. But it's funny.
The other hallways on the left and right are blocked by metal grates.
I see.
It looked as though Seven was right. The door in front of them was their only choice.
All right, let's get moving.
He pulled open the door and walked in. Jumpy took a deep breath and followed. It appeared they'd been telling the truth.
No way.
The first thing Jumpy saw as he entered the room was the number 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing made of red paint. The door it's decorated sat on the back of the back wall of a rectangular room. Jumpy ran up to it.
The 9 door.
It was a large double door with powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish.
We're finally here.
Jumpy grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door. Its display read vacant.
No doubt about it. This is door 9. Oh, finally! This is the last.
Jumpy felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back, and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. And then he exploded in a symphony of ketchup. There was a moment of complete silence.
Junpei, look behind you.
He turned around.
Behind? What?
Jumpy could scarcely believe what he saw.
Why? A door and a 9. There's another one? Hey, what the hell? What the hell is going on here?
His words came slowly, and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. It was a small door, set parallel to the door they'd come through, but in the other corner of the room. 9. There was no mistake, the number, and if any more proof was needed, the red was bolted to the wall next to the door.
There's a red there too. That means... And of course it won't open.
He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real.
But why? Why the hell are there 2 doors?
It was Ace who spoke first.
Do you think perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong one?
Lotus was skeptical.
I don't know about that. It seems unlikely.
What makes you say so?
Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They're full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve them. I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just had to go with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. Do you really think that at the very end of the game, Zero's going to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck?
Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room.
No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. I searched it very well when I was in here before. I didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though.
Well then, that means...
Yeah, both of these are the right door. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it.
It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
Jumpy began to mutter to himself.
So if there are 2 number 9 doors, if we split it up, right?
That's not gonna work.
Jumpy blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her hand.
You've got a notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them?
Yeah, here.
Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her.
Look at this.
Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
You get it? The numbers on the top are all the combinations with digital roots of 9. The numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit. There's only 8 possibilities if we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people. So...
If 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind, right?
yeah.
Clover nodded, almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem.
No way.
The room then went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were blank.
Come to think of it,
Desperate for something else to look at, Jumpy turned his eyes to the room around him.
what is this room?
The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Jumpy and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the room.
It looks like it's set up for some kind of ceremony. But what kind?
Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. At the other end of the carpet,
Is that an altar?
it was recessed space set into the wall between the 2 other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin. A coffin. A coffin.
A coffin? No, it couldn't possibly be.
It's a Pokemon. But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was far as Jumpy wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced.
Okay, I give up. I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer. But I guess nobody's got the guts to do it.
What are you talking about?
Jumpy didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one.
What, you guys didn't figure it out yet? Fine, let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong, she just... screw it! Let me just write it out.
Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look.
If you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination.
Wait, this means...
Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
The same thing? Are you saying?
Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind.
Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden? Are you some kind of idiot?
Lotus was the first to speak. That in itself was a little strange. She'd reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered.
No, I am completely against this. I'll be goddamned if I'm gonna have to owe you for getting out of here.
The rest of them began to speak, all at once.
I'm against it too. I didn't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either. I don't like that idea. There's gotta be other options.
I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero.
Finally, they quieted down. Chumpy looked at Seven.
Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's gotta be a better way than this.
Seven made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough.
Doesn't make any sense.
He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Chumpy could see the twinkling of water at the corners of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke.
Whoa, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet.
Until then, Chumpy hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Chumpy uncomfortable.
Are you agreeing? You want to leave him here?
Santa shook his head.
Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone.
Then I don't see how it matters.
I said alone.
Huh?
I said I don't want to leave Seven alone.
There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Chumpy felt himself shiver.
What the hell are you?
What? You don't get it? I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including Seven. I'll be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal. No, those are my orders.
What do you mean, orders? What the hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the hell's gonna listen to you?
You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice.
What?
3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Bob. Santa was so fast, Chumpy couldn't barely see him. Yeah, thank you, Bob, for interrupting this moment. Wonderful. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet moving like lightning. He spun and... He had June.
See? I told you.
His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile.
Huh? What?
A shudder traveled the length of Chumpy's spine. His chest froze, and he could feel his breath to go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Chumpy felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Chumpy's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple.
Why? What the hell is that?
Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Chumpy's questions roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke, almost as though he had sensed Chumpy's confusion.
The gun's from the other room.
What room?
One of the rooms behind door 6. I should have known he was gonna do this. I should have taken the gun.
Well, it's too late now, fat ass.
Damn it.
A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face, and he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lips twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded and he began to move. He walked backward, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly and then forced June to do the same.
Now, time for you to start following my orders. Ace, Lotus, congratulations! I've chosen you to come with me. Put your hands in the red.
"18. That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2 more.
Hey, you deaf? I gave you an order.
Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed frozen, like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car.
Right, fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it.
No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched, and the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wood splinters across the room. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real and worked.
He really shot it? But why? Santa, why are you...
Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends.
What?
You knew about the leaf words and the 4-leaf clover.
Santa's cheek twitched almost imperceptibly.
What the hell is that shit? I've got no idea.
You're lying.
Shut up! Just shut up! You stupid bitch! You want me to put a bullet in your fucking head?
Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small.
Santa.
He snorted, then shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus.
Alright, assholes! What are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets! I don't have all day. Oh, what's the matter? Your hearing's starting to go? Going senile, maybe?
Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild and her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Chompy's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate.
That's it.
June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she would leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace and Lotus. There was only one thing Chompy to do.
It's the only way.
He turned to Ace and Lotus.
Please, go.
Huh?
No way.
Jumpy, what are you saying? If you stay here, you're going to be stuck, Jumpy. And so will Clover and Seven.
I know, but you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Right, Seven?
Right. You just leave it to us. It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but
Don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of. No, you can't! Ace, Lotus, don't come over! Don't worry about me, please!
June was almost crying. Jumpy walked around behind Ace and Lotus. He gently placed a hand on each of their shoulders
Please.
and pushed them toward the door. They almost stumbled, then righted themselves and took another step, and another. They turned around and Jumpy nodded.
Go. All right.
Fine.
Ace and Lotus turned around again and walked slowly toward the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked 9. Santa smiled.
All right, now let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What? You think I'm fucking around here? I don't give a shit about this girl. The red doesn't need a person, you know? All I need is the bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands on the scanner. I'm not gonna say it again.
He shoved the revolver harder against June's head, and she winced.
Fine.
Ace sighed, defeated, and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Santa and slammed her hand onto the scanner panel. The 4th asterisk blinked on.
Good job. Now, Lotus, pull that lever. Soon as the door opens, you get your ass in there. Try anything stupid, and you know what happens, right?
Damn it.
Jumpy could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble, a drum roll to welcome the chosen few.
Good. Go.
Lotus and Ace walked through the door, their eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well. 6, 7,
Later.
8. After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. The room fell silent. Jumpy, Clover and 7 had been left behind. Clover looked down at her hand and traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. 7 shoved his arms into the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. But then after the end credits, there is an extra clip. It wasn't actually all just a dream, but instead just alternative reality. And at the end of the sunset, there is a portal that led the main character to the beginning of the first movie. Perfect. Desperate for anything to occupy his mind, Jumpy walked to the larger of the 2 9 doors. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. You might have missed the 3rd movie plotline above. Did I? I think I read that. and then the third movie starts, that one? And then the third movie starts, and in the first 2 minutes, it spoils what the characters were talking about, and it's nothing important. And then the main character wakes up, and it was all just a dream, and everything that happened didn't even happen. And then it's completely different movie with no connection to the previous movies. And at the end, the main character walks to the sunset, and the movie ends. Jesus. I guess you missed your calling, Vilnoise. You should start writing scripts for movies, series, and so on. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. It read, engaged. He moved to the smaller door. The red, the red, vacant.
God.
The digital root of the remaining people was 7. There was no possible way for them to open the door with a 9 on it. Jumpy touched the surface of the door.
June.
He thought about June, about Akane Kurashiki or Kurashiki? Was she safe? That was all that mattered to him. If she was alive, if she had escaped this horrible boat, it's a ship, by the way. That was what Jumpy prayed for. 7 came up next to him. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head. He pulled off his hat and scratched his head and sighed.
So, what do you want to do, Junpei?
What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do?
7 opened his mouth to respond when a noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. Oh my. It wasn't mechanical, it was certainly human. Jumpy and 7 looked at one another.
What the hell is that?
Shh, quiet!
Clover motioned to 7 to be quiet. She put one finger on her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. The 3 of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from.
Where is it coming from? Could it be?
Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin.
You're right.
Let's open it.
It was awoken. Get ready your Pokeballs. Battle for the ages to catch your coffin. Oh no, all eyes, Alice. All eyes, Alice. Is this Resident Evil?
But how?
What are those muscles for? For show?
You're telling me to force it open?
Just shut up and try!
Jumpy and 7 grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip with that little purchase they could find and pulled with all their strength. There's no Alice and there's no Resident Evil movie. Didn't happen.
Damn it!
It won't even budge.
There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it.
Not another one.
Yeah, looks like it.
Put in the curse of Ra. Imagine that. Like, put in the curse of Ra, which is like, I don't know, a 30-digit code?
Do you think we have to put in the right password or it won't open?
I think so.
The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder.
Whoever or whatever's inside this thing wants out. And now.
It's a werewolf. Open it.
I know that. But how?
Without a passcode, I don't think there's much we can do.
They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be.
Isn't there a hint somewhere?
Well, let's look for one.
Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews, and Seven investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing.
Ugh, there's nothing here.
Not making this easy, are they?
The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room.
What's the passcode? What am I supposed to do? How can we figure it out? I need something.
Yeah, God, 3D animation. To be continued. Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer. Would you like to save and obtain during this playthrough after saving the game from the beginning? Yes. Why is the game blue balling us? Because the game can do that. That's what the game can do. What was that? Outside the room. Yeah, that's not gonna really work, huh? Yeah. Wait, that is the end? That is the end of that run, yes? Indeed. Crazy, isn't it? Can you go back to the coffin room? You cannot do anything. I can, but it's not gonna help, because I couldn't interact with anything. Like, the entire room was just talk, talk, talk. You could never, like, search the room or interact with it. But I can go back and show you it's gonna be exactly the same thing. Oops. Yeah, see? This is exactly the same thing. You can never actually interact with the room at this point.
June.
It will go on exactly as we just did. But there's also this string where we are missing information, and there's also this, which we haven't done. Well, not fair. I want to know the ending, the true ending of the story, Mr. Krabs. I wanted to try Ice 9 as password. Well, maybe there will be a chance to do so. Did we miss something that led to that end? I don't know. I mean, the only thing we are not knowing is the passcode to that coffin. But also, since we cannot interact with the room when we are here, then we cannot do anything because it literally will lead to the point that Santa is going to move on and then we cannot interact with the room. So this is probably this is most likely a dead end. So potentially we need to do something that changes what happens there. But yeah. As you see, it's locked. This here is the decision between 3, 7, and 8. That is 8. That is 7. So we basically would need to choose door 3 here. Is it loading? Is it not loading? I don't know. Eight, 7, so we need to go into 3. What was the route with the freezer? I have to look at the... That's the operating room, laboratory, kitchen. That's the kitchen there. This route led to the freezer. The freezer is in the kitchen, so that's here. But I need to take a short break, so I will be back in like 2 minutes.